Yeah, tough loss. I mean, we fought for a while and just couldn't get it together defensively in the second half. I thought our defense kind of disappeared during the second half. Not enough, we just weren't good enough to win the game. With having a short rotation was tough, but I definitely don't want to use that as an excuse. I mean, we were able to avoid foul trouble for a large part of the game. I thought, we got some decent play. Came out of the gate great. Thought the guys kind of got themselves galvanized and brought together and had a great start. And then thought our turnovers there in the middle of the first half really killed our flow, and we let them back in it in the second half. We just couldn't get stops. I mean, kind of break that game up into those 4-minute media timeout, battles, and the only one we were any good on defense was the under 8 to under 4. The other 4 we were awful in the second half. So that's losing basketball when you can't guard the other team. That's did not end well for us tonight.
Questions for Jaden and Jaden. We'll start with Alex. Any question in the middle? Jaden, can you just speak to that first start of the first and second halves? Y'all were like 4 for 4, opened it up, and then what happened?
We came out strong. We came out flowing. We knew that we had to have a good start, like good 4 minutes coming into the second half. So I feel like we achieved that, but we didn't get the stops we needed after those first 4 minutes. So it slowed us down. They started to get into a rhythm. So they started to go downhill from there, but I feel like my guys fought hard.
For both Jaden and Javian, just how tired were you guys playing with, 7 men?
We knew coming into this game that we're going to have to play more minutes than usual, down 2 guys. We just prepared ourselves. We conditioned all the time, so we just come in mentally prepared to play those minutes.
Just preparing ourselves. After the game Wednesday with sleep, drinking, practicing, like all the little things, stuff like that. So just preparing ourselves for the game and being ready for it.
For each player, talk about each one of y'all, how the defense changes without Herb out there, please.
Herb's a great defender. He brings a lot to our team. He's a glue guy. He gives his all every single game, every single minute, every single second. So he brings us together. Without him, we still have to go out there and do our job. So we got to gel, we got to talk, we got to do the little things that help our team get better on defense. So without him, it's a loss, but we still have to find a way.
With Herb, he's just all around. He's always everywhere, rebounding, steals, deflections, charges. He's just everywhere. So for us, he's always back there. But for us, we just got to be better, talking, being individual defense, stuff like that. So just got to be better from it.
For each guy, Mason Jones and Jimmy Whitt really hurt you guys on the offensive end of the floor. What did they do to cause you guys problems offensively?
We let them get into a rhythm offensively. We did a good job on Isaiah Joe. We focused on him a lot, so he was one of the guys that we tried to focus on. Mason Jones got into a rhythm. We got in foul trouble, so he was creating a lot of opportunities for himself at the free throw line, along with Witt hitting tough shots in the mid-range. So we just got to do a better job guarding individually, but we'll bounce back.
For me, I started on Witt. I feel like I started off good, but at the end, I think I hurt my team with 2 plays. So I got to man up to my mistakes. I just got to be better on defense individually, put them on the driving line and contesting the shot. So I got to do better on defense, on the defensive end, on my aspect.
For both guys, each one of you talked about Herb kind of said something that struck. Javen, you mentioned that he's always there and, what he does. Were there times that y'all almost expected him to maybe clean up some things that when he's not there, he couldn't do that?
That's the type of player Herb is. He just like the helps and, be aggressive and had the right, mentality and stuff like that. So, he kind of like that helper for us. But at the same time, I feel like all of us liked it, but at the same time, where Herb just always liked it.
Yeah, most definitely. Herb he's gonna help you no matter what. If you're in help, you're in trouble in a matchup. He's gonna help. He's gonna be in the gap trying to help you out. He's gonna do whatever it takes to get that stop, that possession. So he just super hard worker on the defensive end, and it really helps us out a lot.
I've got a two-part question. First, what's the prognosis on Herb in terms of days, weeks?
I mean, it's from what they tell me, it's the same thing that Dante Hall had last year. So we're hoping maybe around 3 weeks. I guess it's all going to depend on how quickly you had the surgery this morning, how quickly he heals from that. But I think Dante was out 2.5 last. But Herb handles the ball a lot more, so he probably needs more mobility than Dante had last year. But that's what we're hoping, about 3-week range.
And second, and again, not as an excuse, but just as a sort of a technical explanation, how does Herb's absence affect what you want to do defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge because he's kind of like that lockdown corner. You put on one guy and he just takes him out of the game. Didn't have that. I thought JP had been pretty good defensively. For whatever reason, he struggled a little bit with his matchup tonight. But, Herb, you can either put Herb on a guy and kind of just shut him down, or you can put him on a bad player and he just cleans up everybody else's mistakes. And we've done both. So, the fact he's 6'7", 6'8", and long and all over the place, covering everybody's mistakes or locking a guy up. If a guy starts to get off like Witt did there late in the second half, you could have we really had to keep length on Witt. So Forbes struggled a little bit with the matchup. We put JD on him, and he kind of blew by him. He's a little bit too slow maybe, where Herb's, is long enough and quick enough to stay in front of him. I think either Witt or Jones, Herb probably would have done a pretty good job on.
Nate, kind of along those lines, how often did it seem like out there that guys were maybe hoping somebody else would step up like Herb had on those defense possessions? And
Man, I mean, there's not many options, especially with the perimeter guys. Like, look at the bench. There's nobody there. We had 7 guys that we could play tonight, 7 scholarship players, and 3 of them are centers. So, Reese, I guess you could call him a 4. Offensively he's a 4. Defensively, you kind of play him at the 5 a lot. So, those guards, you're either going to do it or we're not going to win. And we didn't do it well enough in the second half.
Coach, I wanted to ask about John Petty and Kyra. They did a really good job defending them. How do you get them both going again? Because with this injury situation, they both are going to have to score the ball for you.
Yeah, it's a great question. We needed big games out of both them, and they, Arkansas being small, switching a lot. I thought, we maybe settled a little bit too much, didn't attack switches enough. You look at 1 for 10 between the two of them from 3. We got to, and again, when you switch, you don't have to help as much. But I still thought we could have gotten a few more paint touches, blow-bys. I thought Kyra was starting to get it going there late, and we tried to post G on that one. Maybe we should have stayed with attacking off the switches with Kyra. They called the offensive foul on the post up. It's a tough play, But when they're guarding, Galen or JD with a guard, sometimes you think you want to go to that mismatch, and we maybe should have kept driving Kyra. I thought Kyra was starting to get himself going there late.
You kind of challenged your team before the game, telling them to get back to their blue-collar mentality. Do you feel like they did that, and what does that say about them to do that without Herbert Jones?
We did it early. First half was pretty good. Second half, we went away from it. And I don't want to use depth as an excuse. I mean, yeah, Kyra played 40, but he's played 39 minutes and 54 seconds before this year. I think that's the first time he's played the full 40, but he's used to playing 38, so we can't use that as an excuse. I mean, JP's used to playing 35 plus a lot. Shaq's in good enough shape. That's not a good enough excuse that we got tired. I thought the second half we just lost our focus on defense. I don't know if it felt like the offense was good enough, and we never they never opened it up on us because we were in there offensively. But if you don't have a defensive mindset, it's hard to win close games, and we just didn't have one in the second half today.
Coach, you guys brought Petty off the bench in the last game. You talked about wanting to see more from the leadership. What did you see from them coming into this game and then throughout the 40 minutes?
Yeah, we were ready to play. I thought he had a really good couple practices going in. I thought he was locked in. We had a great start to the game. I think that 12-0 start's our best start of the year. So I think, leadership was there to get us started. It's just we've had this issue all year with maintaining our effort for 40 minutes, and the second half was bad. You miss Herb, both his play on the floor, but you also miss some of his leadership, just getting guys to play hard. When a guy that plays as hard as Herb plays and does all the blue collar stuff Herb does, when he talks, like, you're gonna listen. If he's gonna tell the guys we got to guard, like, we got to guard, and he's almost, he had the surgery this morning, so he's still recovering from it. Wasn't even able to be at the game. I almost felt like it would have helped to have him on the bench, just in the guy's ears at least there today, because he's that kind of a guy that he's all business when it comes to defense and blue collar and making winning plays, and we missed that in the second half for sure.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did not notice Hawkins in uniform today. What's the deal?
He had the flu, so we got to stay away from the team for 72 hours. It's the last thing we need is for one of these 7 guys that are playing to catch the flu. So he's been quarantined, if you will, from the team for the 72 hours. Well, till the flu goes away.
First, is Beetle making any kind of progress?
You know what? Dr. Bittner was here with Clark, and they feel like he is. They've got him. The last round, the diagnosis, they feel like they've got a pretty good idea of what's going on, and they've got a plan. And they told me they felt like if we'd have played tomorrow, like he maybe would have been able to play. So I think he's probable for Tuesday. Yeah, even having him even if it was 10 minutes today would have helped. He could have at least gotten some stops on some of those guards, and we could have moved the matchups around a little bit.
And also, 17 turnovers doesn't seem, I guess, exorbitantly high, but they got 27 points off those turnovers because a lot of them were out front.
There was too many live turnovers. It's one thing if it's a charge or a travel, referee blows a whistle on it. I mean, we were just throwing the ball to the other team, or we call them single gaps, where their teammates too close to them and the gap's too tight. We drove a bunch of single gaps today, and they stripped us. And I mean, they're one of the better teams in the country at turning people over, and we did a really poor job taking care of the ball. And this is flared up, when in the first half, I think Petty and Kyra both had 4 each. It's too many. Petty didn't have any in the second half, but we got to do a better job. Our guards got to take care of the ball a lot better.
Just, you can hear it in your voice a little bit, but the level of disappointment, opportunity at home against a team in the middle of the standings, kind of like yourself. And do you feel it all snake bit, this first season, kind of some of the losses that you've experienced?
Yeah, we got to win close games. The K-State game, we're up 16, so even that one, I don't feel like it should have been close. I felt like we should have blown that open. That's the only close one we've won. We got to figure, if you can't get stops late in the game, we're up 69-66, and there's about 4 minutes to go. I don't have it exactly in front of me, but if I remember correctly, it looked like about 4 to go. Next thing you know, it's 77-70 them. They go on an 11-1 run. Like, to win close games late, you got to get stops, and you got to take care of the ball. You can't turn it over. You got to convert at the free throw line. Free throws were an issue here late in the game. I thought, multiple guys, we needed them to go 2 for 2 or 3 for 3 or whatever. Didn't get it. So we got to learn how to win close games. Yeah, it's frustrating. Thought we had them ready to go. I thought they got themselves ready to go. If you look at the start, they had to burn 2 timeouts early. Before the first media timeout, they had already taken 2 timeouts. And so we were ready. Just we couldn't sustain it for 40. And even that, we're up 69. So we're up 3 with 4 minutes to go. You got to win that game at home. So, and being at home with the crowd that we had, our kids are playing hard. I think the student section was great. The crowd itself was awesome. We were getting the energy we needed late in the game to get those stops, and we just didn't come up with them. So hopefully the crowd's able to come back with the same energy against Tennessee. I definitely know it makes it a lot easier if you win for them to come back. They want to come back to support winners, but I thought the crowd was huge for us tonight. You know, we had pushing 13,000 people in there. It was great energy, and yeah, it's frustrating that we couldn't make it happen there in the last 4 minutes of the game, or really the second half total. All right, thanks.